Welcome back to the After Contract Hours podcast, the show where we clock out at work to check in on the well-being of the world. I'm your host, health education teacher and professor, and health psychology specialist, Courtney Heidorn. Today's episode is going to be a powerful journey into the world of mental health, specifically focusing on social anxiety. I'm beyond excited to have a very special guest with us today, Britney Thake, a remarkable young adult who has graciously agreed to share her enlightening story with us. Have you ever felt the weight of unease in social situations? Maybe you found yourself nervously overthinking every word or action in a group setting. Well, you are not alone. Social anxiety is a topic that touches the lives of many, and today, Britney is here to shed light on her personal journey with social anxiety from her middle school years all the way through young adulthood. So, why this episode matters? We often underestimate the impact that social anxiety can have on individuals, especially during crucial periods of personal development. The purpose of today's episode is twofold: to provide insight into what social anxiety may look like and feel like, and to offer inspiration through Britney's story. By understanding the symptoms and hearing about practical coping mechanisms, we hope to reach those who might be grappling with social anxiety and show them that they are not alone. Meet Britney. Britney Thake, once a middle school student of mine at ages 12 to 14, navigating the complexities of social anxiety, has blossomed into an incredible young woman. Her journey is a testament to resilience, growth, and the power of finding effective coping strategies. Britney, thank you so much for joining us today and for being open about your experiences. And what to expect. Throughout this episode, we'll explore the nuances of social anxiety, delving into Britney's personal narrative. We will touch on the challenges she faced, the pivotal moments of growth, and the coping abilities that have empowered her along the way. Whether you're someone who has personally experienced social anxiety, or if you're here to gain a deeper understanding, this episode is for you. So grab your favorite beverage, find a cozy spot, and let's embark on this journey together. Our hope is that by the end of this episode, you'll not only have a better grasp of social anxiety, but also feel inspired by Britney's story and equipped with valuable insights.
Okay, let's go.
Awesome. It was meant to be for you.
Okay.
So we're going. What is this? Jeez. I just did a short circuit. Please imitate what you just heard come out of my mouth.
That's all I heard.
Oh my god.
We're not going to
crying
get
already.
through this in a
We're
straight.
not.
It's
We're freaking not. That was hilarious. Why was that so funny? Okay.
1 hour turns into 2.
It does. It happens very quickly.
So
So today we have one of my favorite human beings with us. I was telling her how awkward I am in the beginning and the end of these episodes because I never know how to properly introduce people. I never know what to say. I just feel so awkward. So this is Britney.
Hello.
She was my 7th grade and 8th grade health and PE student back in the day, and now you are how old?
I turned 19 in 4 days?
Oh my gosh, wait. Happy early birthday. I didn't know that. Holy cow. So I had her when she was 11 and 12-ish.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy. So
That's
freaking
crazy.
crazy. So crazy. And I ran back into her at the Starbucks. Wasn't that when I was reconnected with you in high school? Yeah. And in the town that I teach in and where she went to high school, I was just at a Starbucks and I drove through and I saw her in the window and I was like, oh my God.
We know each other.
Yeah, we reconnected and it was, even though she was a student of mine, I just remember when I first met you, you were just like that little sister vibe that I never had because I only have a little brother. But truly, it was the best feeling ever reconnecting with her. So she...
You're the oldest? Sorry.
No, do what?
Are you the oldest between you and your brother?
No, he's 30.
You said younger brother.
Did I?
Yeah.
I'm younger. He's older.
Okay, I was going to say.
Yeah, honey, you did say that.
Sorry. Continue.
No. Yeah, he's older. But yeah, so she is on this episode today. We're going to concentrate on mental health with social anxiety. And I'm so honored and excited to even learn myself from you and what you've had experiences with. But she's had social anxiety from a very young age, how to navigate it. I have my goals specifically written down, just basically what social anxiety is, what it meant like to her, or what it was like for her, what it meant to her, how she navigated it slowly but surely, and overcame certain instances of it, because you made it clear that what you said, I'm in no position to give advice.
Yeah. I can't answer that question, man.
She's like, I still live with it every day. But I don't really know what that's like on a deep level, so I'm excited to hear your perspective. But we're just going to kind of rewind in life, start from the beginning. She was not only a student of mine, but she became a team manager for my basketball team in 8th grade. And I think it was she really was the best one ever. So we're going to talk about that and all the goodness and vulnerability. You ready to get deep?
No.
She said, absolutely not.
I crack myself up, man.
And
What can I say?
you cracked me up, dude. Okay, the first goal is we're going to be exploring social anxiety. So my first question for you is share with us your personal journey with social anxiety during middle school. Let's start there first. So 6th, 7th, and 8th grade.
Ooh.
That's okay.
I don't, this is.
it's awkward, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is.
I don't really know. Like it.
Because you said you didn't really even recognize that's what it was.
Yeah. Like it was just like, it's like, why am I weird?
Why am I weird?
That's, and then no friends, because I felt like I was weird, and then I didn't,
No, I think that's actually a good way of putting it for a lot of middle school
with
kids.
no words.
With no words. With little words. I think that's a perfect way, because you said prior to starting to record this episode that you didn't even know what that was. So how could you really define it? So I think you felt weird. You didn't feel like you had friends, and you kept thinking to yourself, like, why am I so weird? Why am I so weird? Did you really not have friends?
Not that many.
Really?
I had one, I want to say.
In
like
middle school.
close friend from elementary. Because then all my other elementary friends, they middle school is whenever the big popular groups really start, and then they all were like, I'm going to be popular.
Yep, and you were like,
and
I'm weird.
I said, I'll see you in a couple years.
Yep.
They said, no.
Ugh.
They came calling back to me.
Did they?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
I knew it.
See, weird is good.
Yeah.
Weird is the best.
I embrace it now.
I think that's why we vibed so well,
Oh,
because
yeah.
I'm weird as hell, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh, it makes me sad, though, because that was what? You're going to be 19. You were...
Yeah.
That was 7-8 years ago that I had you as
Oh
a
my
student,
gosh, that's
which is
crazy.
freaking disgusting and crazy to think about. But I don't even remember a lot of stuff in between, because I have so many students throughout the years, but you stood out to me, Obvi. But yeah, I don't remember that being a thing, that you didn't have friends much, because maybe me and you were just besties in class. Like, I never really paid attention to that. But so I teach PE and health. Even though you may not have known what social anxiety actually was at that time, I just think of kids' biggest anxiety in PE is when we pick teams. Was that something that you were like, I hate my freaking life? Why are we doing this?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
I hated PE altogether, to be
Right.
honest. So I was just waiting for the bell to ring, so I could skedaddle.
Yeah, I think a lot of people feel that way.
Yeah, whenever I was in groups with the more popular people, that's where it was
Pressure.
I'm just gonna sit in the corner real quick.
Oh,
you guys can do your thing, and then I'll be back here.
Well,
Let me know if you need me.
Were they ever mean? Did you ever have bullying?
No,
Good.
I was never bullied. Surprisingly.
That's great.
Surprisingly. But I've heard so many other people that were bullied. I was like, I guess people liked me, and I just never realized.
Yeah. So you're
because even now, there's people which I'll talk about later, I guess, but some of the basketball girls, I thought that they hated me, and then recently I've seen them, I'm like, oh my gosh, Britney, hey, and I was like, you like me? Okay. Yeah.
No, but I think that's very relatable. I mean, even as a grown woman, I can relate to that on certain levels for sure too. So basically, exploring social anxiety, you didn't really know what it was at the time. You just felt like you were weird. You didn't have a lot of friends. Did you, mental health wise, and socially, like when you were in middle school and you felt like you didn't have friends, like, can you maybe kind of give some context to how that made you feel throughout a normal school day? Like, would you go to class just like quiet and awkward, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went from, well, because you know how the school was, because you worked there, so it was super tiny.
Yeah.
And the team I was on, I was in like those 3 different hallways at some point, and then it was like I learned to just locker, class, locker. No, I didn't even go back to my locker. I went to my locker 2 times a day, at the beginning and at the end. And then I just went to my classes.
Yeah.
Didn't talk to really anybody.
That was your mission. Just get in and get out.
Yep.
So you never socialized in the hallways, really?
Nope.
That's wild.
I was also afraid that I was going to be late.
Yeah, you cared about being on time.
Yeah. I was 30 minutes early.
Well, that's nice. That's actually really refreshing.
Yeah. I sat up there. I watched you take out the trash.
I loved it. I love it. No, but that's good. It really is refreshing to have had students that cared about being on time, because that's just not a thing anymore with kids in school.
Really?
Yeah. They are tardy all the time. I started cracking down on it, and because they do, like, the school district has consequences in place for repeated offenses of being tardy.
Yeah.
And with teaching PE, we have so many kids to keep track of every day, so it's easy to get away from it. Like, we'll count them tardy in our computer, but it's up to us to, like,
do something about it.
And it's easy to get away from that. So I started really cracking down, and my students have been so much better, which I'm very grateful for. If you're watching, proud of you, love you. Okay, so that's good to know. You just went class to class, like, so that is social anxiety. That's a perfect, definition of it, with you not even knowing what that was. Yeah. That definitely does, pertain to what that is. You don't want to get caught in social situations because it intimidated you.
A lot.
Could you, right? Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, but okay. So class to class, you had a mission just to be on time or be early to really avoid. Now, if somebody were to ever stop you in the hallway,
I'd talk to them. If I knew them and I was like, I would stop and talk to them.
So that didn't really give you anxiety.
No.
But if it was a popular person, that would be like,
yeah, like, why are you talking to me? Like,
let me
get to class, man.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Did you feel with those type of kids and peers, like if popular kids would stop you and never talk to you, did you feel that you were not, like, worthy enough to be spoken to by someone like that?
I guess you could put it that way. I think I just was like, again, like the feeling like I was weird. So like, are you talking to me out of pity or because you actually want to be friends with me?
Yep.
Sort of situation.
I totally get that. I can feel that in my soul. You defined that very well.
Thanks.
Yes. This is a pity conversation, almost kind of like, not bullying, but like an underlying, like, you're just faking being nice to me because you're getting a laugh out of it. Like, I've seen a lot of students of mine have gone through that. Like, I have a student this year that has come up to me and said specifically things. They're like, she's very smart, ungodly, intelligent, and very socially aware. And she's weird as hell in the best way. Like, that's, again, why I vibe so well. Like, just the quirky, fun, like, personalities and putting it all out there. And she's like, they don't want to talk to me. Like, I don't want them talking to me. And I'm like, okay. And I would go over and just be like, hey, girls, like, mind your own business. And they're like, I'm just talking to this person. And like, but you're not. Like, we can see through it. Move on. Like,
kids nowadays too, though. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That's a whole nother topic
Yeah.
of concern. But yeah, so I get that. I totally get that. And, you know, you're doing a great job for, in the beginning, not really knowing how to talk about it. You're doing great with describing that experience. So middle school was weird. Were there instances or moments that stood out to you when you felt the impact of social anxiety the most? So PE was one of the spaces you said.
Yeah.
What about like a normal classroom setting?
When I had to present or speak up. Like, if the teacher called me and was like, Brittany, what's your thought on this? Or like, popcorn reading? Can I leave? Yes. I dreaded it. And I knew, like, other kids that, like, this one kid, he was like, I'm not going to be here tomorrow. I was like, why? He's like, because we have to present. I was like, I wish.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, like, presenting, that was, like, the biggest thing in, like, any class. I would not want to do it ever.
I think that's actually the number one cause of anxiety in the entire world. The biggest fear is public speaking.
Why do we do it?
I know. Why do we do it? I have kids,
understand.
like in my fitness class, I try to get them to get up because I have them do this little presentation project. It's very simple and short, but like, hey, talk about your hero, whatever it is. And they're like, can I just stay seated and like talk about it? And I'm like, sure, because I just forget. I guess being a teacher, that's what I do for a living. So, but when
you're sitting there with 20 pairs of eyes on you, you're used to it. Whereas like, we're not.
Yeah.
Like if I can remember, like I would rather just like sit down and like I'll talk. But if I have to stand up or if I have to get up and go in the front of the room, I do not want to do it.
Isn't that wild? And our body physically responds to that anxiety. Sweat. It's horrible. I remember my freshman year of college, I had to take oral communications. It was like a agenda that you had to take. And they would even tell you, like, you can pick whatever topic you want to talk about each week, but you have to make a presentation and do it. So that made it easier. That it's like something relatable and not like
volcanoes.
Cold War. Yeah, something that like you do not connect with at all. But I even remember getting up and just being like, oh my gosh, sweating, pit stains.
Oh yeah.
Horrible, like so bad. So I think that's just, everybody definitely feels that. So how did social anxiety affect your interactions with peers and your overall school experience? Like, let's think lunch.
Oh my gosh, beginning of the year, finding a lunch table to sit with.
Middle school, right?
Middle school.
Okay. So you could pick back then?
Yeah, like we had like the rows.
That's right.
But it was so you had to have like count on like your group of friends to like want to sit with you.
Yes.
And that was or if it was, I think at one point we did have like a free lunch where we could choose wherever, and then people got too loud and then they were like
moved it back.
But during that point it was like, oh, do you want to sit with me if you're on this team and I'm on this team? Like, do you want to sit together? And then it's still like they're going to say no. They want to sit with their friends. They don't want to sit with me.
Had you ever been told no? Literally, someone was like, no.
Yes and no.
I'm not making fun of it.
8th grade, I went through a little thing, and I wasn't able to sit with my best friend anymore.
Yeah.
So that was like, it wasn't directly a no, but like, it was still like,
you knew.
that hurt.
Yeah.
Because it was like, I don't want to sit with you anymore.
Ugh.
I was like, oh.
Gosh.
Okay.
Gosh.
I'll go over here now.
Did you ever sit by yourself?
No.
Because there's so many kids in that space. I feel like.
Yeah. There wasn't room to sit by yourself.
Right. That's what I remember.
Not even high school there was really ever room to sit by yourself. There was at least one other person sitting at the same table.
I'm just giggling, thinking, because I just love you and you're so funny, and I just can't.
I know.
And awkward and weird in the best ways, like I am. And so I just imagine you sitting by yourself, and then did you ever have an instance where like a kid came and sat down and you're like, I'm just gonna eat and not talk? Like,
well, okay, so like not middle school related, but like high school, like my senior year, me and my friend group, part of them we're not friends anymore, but we sat at this table, right? And this kid, nobody ever talked to. He started sitting at our table, and we were like, we're just gonna sit down. And he looked at us like we were weird, and we're like, we've been sitting here all year.
Yeah.
So and that's, I don't know. But
in middle school, you never had a moment of like...
No, because the lunchroom is teeny tiny.
So there's multiple people.
Yeah, there's at least 5 people at a table at all times.
Would you always get into a conversation, even if they weren't like a big friend group, or would people just be silent and eat?
If it was a conversation I could like... not
relate
indulge.
to.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But if it was like, if I could like speak on it, like I would like talk and everything, but I don't really remember, unless I was having a bad day where I wasn't talking to people. Because again, like at the time, like the people I sat with actually liked me.
Yeah.
So like I was like, okay, we're friends.
Right. God, that's so interesting. I remember when I was in high school, just it's so funny to speak on this. Like I had a situation my senior year where my main friend group, there were a few girls that were very catty and just had mean moments, and said something that I did not like about another kid. And I wasn't perfect. I'm sure I gossiped a lot in high school too.
At this point,
right? But I just remember like my moral compass, like they were plotting something, against a girl that they didn't like, and I was friends with said girl, and I just didn't like that, and I just remember like standing up, and I'm like, I'm not sitting here anymore, like so whatever, I basically had to go find a new table to sit at.
That's the worst feeling ever.
But I was like annoyingly social, and I just remember seeing this one kid sitting by him or herself, I can't remember if it was a boy or girl, but a kid was sitting by themselves at the table, and I was like, that's a freshman, I think, and I don't care, I'm just gonna go make a new friend. And I sat down, and I did, and we ended up, like, over the rest of the school year, like, more people started, like, randomly joining that table. I'll never forget it. It was so fun and random. But I remember my mom, I guess I went home and told my mom, I always wanted to make her proud about friendships that I made, because she was the parent in my life that was like, say hi to someone new today, you know, make someone smile today.
Yeah.
She'd always give me those little golden nuggets before school started. And I went home that day, and I was like, Mom, I sat with somebody at lunch today that was all by themselves, and like, I think they were a freshman, and I'm a senior, and I think I scared them, but I think we're gonna be friends. And I just wanted her to be proud of me, and she was. But I remember she goes, honey, you also have to have, you know, balance. Like, not everybody wants a loud, obnoxious personality to sit with while they're eating, so just awareness. And I was like, but
They were alone.
I know. But ever since she said that, I think I definitely pay attention more to people's energy. Like, when I approach them socially, like, I don't need to be, like, with you, I can be obnoxious, but if someone's, like,
known you for so long.
really quiet, I know, I'm just like, hey, like, tone it down.
Hey, girl.
Yes. Okay, so that's a good picture for your 8th grade middle school, like, social anxiety, kind of how that was for you. Let's talk about how being a team manager on basketball was for you.
You guys are just doing the same thing.
I know,
So I'm
my
like...
husband's sitting behind the scenes making sure the equipment's good, but so remind me even, I should remember this, but again, I've done a lot in the last 8 years with kids, so remind me of how you becoming the team manager started with basketball.
I want to say you were getting ready for tryouts, because I think tryouts had like either were in the process of being done or were done or beginning to, and then you had a list of like people that wanted to be managers. I remember this was being long, and I was like,
the list was long, is that what you said?
yeah. I'm pretty sure of like just people like either, I think it was trying out or just being managers in general, and you were like, you should sign up to be a manager because you help me all the time anyway. I was like, I remember going home, I was so excited. I told my mom, I said, hey, can I do this? Like, it's something I want to do. And she was like, well, if it's something you want to do it. I was like, okay.
Aww.
I was so expecting her to say no, because it was like time commitment outside of school, and she already had my sister to worry about with color guard. But she said yes.
You were so happy.
And then I went and I signed my name.
Yes! So legit, little contract.
Yes.
Yes, I went all out with that. I remember specifically, because I still do it to this day with students. Like, when I coached track, for example, last spring, like, there were kids I was scoping out that had qualities that I could trust, that could genuinely be helpful. Because I think a lot of kids by default are made team managers or equipment managers because maybe they didn't make the team, or the coach is just so desperate to have people. But I've had to go through that myself. I've, just reached out to people that, like, I wanted to be part of something, and they didn't help at all. Like, they were more of a hindrance in this season. But I remember, like, with you as a student, you helped me in PE all the time in the fitness room. Like, you would help clean things up. You were OCD with organization. And
I still am.
Yes, I was obsessed. I loved it. You would, like, color coordinate things. I was obsessed. So organized. And I think you even had, like, a binder. You had some type of school item that I saw and was like, oh my gosh, like, you need to be my manager. Like, you are so organized. So I remember I was looking for that in you for sure. And so that's freaking awesome that you were so excited. So was any part of you nervous to be part of that?
Oh yeah.
Speak on that. What made you nervous?
Being a part of a sports team. Cause, like, okay, I moved to the Wentzville School District. I was in first grade. It was like halfway through my first grade. So, like, I hadn't been on a sports anything since before that, where I came from. It was like, I was on softball, and then we moved, and never again. So then going, 6 years without doing anything sports related, it was like, this is weird.
Yeah.
But then actually going to, like, be a part of it, It was nice. I liked it.
So probably your social anxiety was triggered big time.
Yeah.
You just didn't know it at the time.
And then I know, if I remember correctly, some of the girls, like, I went to elementary school with, so, like, it was, like, nice because, like, I know you. I can, like, talk to you. And then I warmed up to all the other girls.
Yes.
But,
yes. That's so great. Yeah. And that makes sense. I mean, I even, as an adult, like, when I start new things, like, I have a social confidence to me, but, I mean, anything new with new people is anxiety-ridden, especially post-COVID. I mean, because people just lack communication skills in general, so it's 10 times worse today.
Did not help anything.
No,
going through high school, that did not help.
What?
That was my freshman year. Halfway through my freshman year, we went.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's gross. That was a horrible experience for kids, for sure. So you joined the basketball team.
Yes.
Mom approved. You were super stoked. You knew people, helped ease your anxiety a little bit. Give me kind of a general overview of what you remember that whole season being like for you socially, with or without your anxiety, how you maybe navigated challenges.
I remember being upset with the other managers because I remember specifically the one game I will always remember. I don't know who we were playing against or if it was like a scrimmage or whatever. I was doing the book and we had the waters and the two other girls, they were in the opposite side of the gym in the corner in the bleachers. And I was like, I'm sitting over here actually doing what I was supposed to be doing. You guys are over there sitting with your friends, and it kind of just made me realize I'm better working alone.
There you go. That's a huge, I'm actually really glad you said that. That's a huge quality that people need to realize about themselves. Like, yes, in life we have to learn to work with other people at some point. That's a life skill, but that is a huge realization that you had as only a 13, 14-year-old kid. Mm-hmm. Like, I work better alone. Like, I
remember looking like right over there, and I was like, they were just sitting there laughing. I'm being serious with a book and a pencil.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I remember that. I do remember, because I remember you and I talked about it. You were like, I just feel like I'm not really getting help with it. You weren't like tattling on them.
No,
I
but
brought
like,
it up. I think I was probably upset. Like, where is this, and this? And you were like,
it's just me.
Hey. Yes.
Hey.
Didn't I tell you after that season, this just made me think about it, didn't I tell you, like, if you need a reference for a job, like, call me? Like, you could literally put this on your resume as a freshman getting your first job, because you were so good. You were on time to everything. You were accountable, loyal, determined to get the job done. Like, I just remember that. Okay, so you didn't enjoy working with other people because they were falling short in their responsibilities. Did you, I'm sure you made up for it, but, like, did you end up having to, like, take over what they weren't doing? I don't remember.
Yeah, I think, and, like, okay, I hated filling up the water bottles. I always have, because it's just the same thing over and over. So, like, they would do that, but then I was doing it, like, I would get the basketball rack out, I'd put it away, and they'd just be running around.
So it's like social hour for them, as opposed to, like, this is your job.
Yeah.
Yep, I remember it. And it happens every year. I always get team managers that start to fall off and act that way, and I have to get real serious real quick. Like, this is not what you're here for. Like, that's why I created the contracts. I learned, like, your parents need to sign this, you need to sign it, because if I get rid of you, this will be my, my
you're
justification.
Not living up to these values or...
Yep. Your season with me made me really realize that. Like, I don't like people just coming here and not doing what they're supposed to be doing. But now, okay, so managerial wise, that's kind of how you felt. Talk to me about how you vibed with the team. Like, because you weren't a basketball player, how did that?
In the beginning, I was very standoffish because I knew, like, two of them. Mm-hmm. And then as I would, like, talk to each person, get to know them, we all kind of, like, warmed up. And then to me, they were like another family. And then that just kind of went on with the rest of me being a manager. It was just, these girls, I love them. They're my sisters. I will do anything for them. And then I learned from being in 8th grade, I was going to have anything and everything that the girls would ever need on me at all times. So then over the next 4 years that I continued managing, if they needed, I had a hairbrush, I had a hair tie, I had Band-Aids, I had a shoelace. because one of the girls' shoelaces broke. I think it was my sophomore year, and I was like, oh my gosh. So I started keeping an extra shoelace in my little bag. I had deodorant if they ever needed it. I had snacks.
Like your mom.
I went out and bought
this.
my money. I went and spent for the girls in case they ever needed anything. Because I know they're supposed to be there for practice. They're like this, and this. And I have the freedom to, like, if I don't have to be there, I'm allowed to be gone. So I would go out and get those and then have them on me.
Who would not want a friend like that?
I also had gum. Gotta make that.
For bad breath?
No, because the girls should gum when they're, and I mean, like, I'd never tell any of the girls they had bad breath, even if they did.
My husband and I were just having this conversation, not about each other, but just people with bad breath, and like, how do you talk to them? Do you just give them gum? Side notes, that's so funny.
I'll even unwrap it for you.
Yeah. No work necessary. Oh my gosh. Brittany, that's incredible. Now, as an 8th grader, you didn't have that extra stuff.
No, but I knew that I wanted to do that. Like, that's what I wanted to build up to. I wanted to be the person that they could come to as, like, their age, their friend, not just the coach, because if the coach is busy and they're like, get out of my face.
Yep.
Getting ready for a game.
Yep.
I wanted them to know that they could come to me and ask for it.
That's incredible.
And that I would have it.
That's incredible.
Instead of them also having to call their mom or their dad and be like, hey, I really need this right now. The only thing I didn't have was extra jerseys or anything else.
Yep.
But.
Yeah. Dear God, that is really powerful. Like, I don't know of a single other child, like adolescent, teenage person that would ever think of that. That is one trait that, now that you explain that I do remember really latching on to, is that you have this innate ability to just nurture others. And I think I've told you that before, like, you're gonna be the best mom one day. Like, you're so selfless and thinking of other people and like always putting other people before yourself. You made me feel that way. I have a current 7th grader right now that she is literally you. She is who you were for me. I wasn't a coach. I'm not coaching sports anymore, but so she's not my manager, but she is like my PE and health sidekick. Like, she comes up every morning and she's like, can I get you anything? Not like food, water, nothing like that, but just
in general,
pass out paper. Like, she just wants to nurture me. And I get chills like every time you would come up and help me in class or with sports, and how she does too. It's like, that is the best feeling in the world, to know that someone just adores you and wants to make you happy. It made me feel very selfish. So I was like, I need to be better.
Selfish. Don't ever feel selfish for that.
I did.
Don't.
Well, I compared because I was like, this kid, Brittany, is more nurturing than me, and I need that skill. Like, I did. I was like envious that you had it. But you made me feel so good. Good. As a woman, as a grown adult, you made me feel taken care of.
I looked up to you a lot. I will have you know that. Like, I looked up to you.
Why? I'm just kidding.
I mean, why else?
No.
You were just, you were always there when I needed somebody. And I was always able to talk to you. And if I needed a quiet space, you let me just hang out.
Yeah, I would go to my office, relax, do your homework.
Yeah. It was amazing. I enjoyed it a lot.
I did too. I really did too. And I think you know that. But like, reconnecting, it's just like the best, like, this sisterhood feeling. Like, even, we bonded over traumas and stuff that we've both been through. So I think that even though you didn't realize it, like, that was comforting for me too. Like, to know, like, I'm not alone. Even though
That's how I felt. I was like, knowing somebody else, because again, it's like when you're in middle school going through these things, you don't think that other people have gone through it. And then to know that you went through basically the same thing, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yep.
Like,
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we were soul sisters and still are. It's just, I love that. And thank you for saying that. That does mean a lot, because when teachers and coaches are caught up in the seasons during the school year, it's hard to like see if you've ever made an impact on kids.
You have.
Thank you. I love you. Oh my gosh, look at us being weird and awkward so sweet.
Hey, it's gotten better though.
It has. No, I thank you so much for that. So, I love how you explained that. Like, you grew, it was awkward at first for you to like mesh with the girls on the middle school team, but you grew into family. You learned from that experience, like, I want to show up more for them and not just be available if the coach needs me. So you kind of learned that from middle school, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So then let's talk about your high school experience with this. So I want to say, before we get into like your side of it, as a teacher and coach, we really do hammer our kids in PE and health. Like, when you get to high school, do the things, try new things, do all the sports, like, you know, try out, explore, do things that make you happy, find out what you like and don't like, and which I think is good. We do need to push our students and like encourage them to try new things, because high school is a long journey and it can be really miserable if you don't try new things and meet new people. So I think that's the purpose of why we do that. But as a PE teacher and a fitness teacher, we definitely push sports. And so you were someone that was just like, nope, being physically in sports was just not a passion of yours, right?
No, if I would have done it growing up, I think I would have been more into it, but being a manager in 8th grade really just kind of, I was like, I love this.
That was your niche.
Yeah.
I remember we talked about softball, because you had told me that you did softball, stopped doing it, because I remember saying, oh, try out in high school, and you were like, no.
No. Not happening.
I don't care. So then remind me and others, like how you made that social transition into high school in general. Let's start with there before basketball. Like, were you scared?
Oh yeah. COVID hit halfway through.
Okay.
So like I had beginning of like the school year, I had also reconnected with the friend that I wasn't friends with halfway through 8th grade. So like over the summer, it was a whole thing. And so like we went into our freshman year together, like nothing ever happened, and we were super happy. So we had each other to lean on. And then I did have a group of friends from 8th grade, because I kind of made a group. And then we were there, and that group kind of like split up. But it's okay. We're still like, we still know each other. We'll say hi to each other whenever we see everybody.
Yeah.
But it was easier going in knowing that I had those people. But, you know, that transition from middle school to high school, that's a huge thing. Because now you're not just going from in the same hallway. You're going from hallway to hallway to hallway to hallway, or floor to floor to floor. Because there's 3 floors to the building, and there's like 15 hallways. And then not being able to really like grasp where everything was at first. I had the luxury of having my older sister there. So like I could be like, hey, where's this room at? If I knew she had this classroom, or hey, how's this teacher as a teacher?
Yeah.
So that was really nice. But yeah.
Scary.
Did
you have, like, when you actually started your freshman schedule of, like, actually being in classrooms, did you have really bad social anxiety if you didn't have friends in the classroom? Like, what paint a picture of what kind of freshman student you were in a classroom setting.
Quiet.
Okay.
And then if I had a group of friends, I would talk to them, like most kids do. But like, I did not talk to anybody.
So
I befriended the teachers, because
I was just gonna say that. Yeah.
Like that was my, if I like them, if they're not scary, I'm gonna go talk to them, and then they get to know me, and then they know how I am, and then they don't call me in the middle of class.
Right. Do not do that. So that makes me wonder. It's kind of a deeper level question. I'm gonna challenge you to kind of think a little bit deeper here. So what do you think it was that made you more confident to build a connection with a teacher versus like a kid sitting next to you, as an example?
I gotta think about this one.
Yeah.
Why
it's
would
a
you
good
do this
one.
to me? You gotta hit me with this before I have time to think about it.
It just hit me.
I think because like I had like 3 male teachers through the entire like 4 years of high school. So like most of the women teachers, like it was amazing. I knew I could go to them because you're more opening, like not opening, but like welcoming. Yeah. That's the word I'm looking for. But it was easier to like go up because they could see, like, you guys are like not trained. I guess trained to like see each and every person, and you're not judging us. You're just there to help us learn. And I think I was able to hold on to that and be like, they aren't gonna judge me if I bring up this or this. Or if I open up to them. Yeah.
So like rejection, like you didn't have that sense of rejection going to an adult as opposed to fear with kids, and I feel
because I mean, kids growing up, like we're judgmental.
Absolutely.
Like I still am. Yeah. I'm not gonna say I'm not. But yeah.
Yeah, because that's how you were with me. Like we formed a friendship so quickly when you were in middle school, because you just had, I think that's why when I hear you say, like, social anxiety, like, I believe that, because I know who you are and I know your personality, but, like, in the moment when I first met you and had you as a kid, I thought you were just the most confident, like, whatever. Because
I was not confident at all.
The way you would approach me, like, you just were like, what's up, girl? Like, it was so, I never would have thought that you struggled that much with social anxiety because of how great you were. That makes sense. Like, fear of rejection. I was always, like, the teacher's pet in class. And mine was more like, I guess acceptance. You want to feel accepted and not rejected. The opposite of rejected is acceptance. I remember always wanting that too. I wanted the teacher to really like who I was as a kid, and so I can relate to that feeling. It's a good feeling.
Yeah.
And if the adult accepts you and other kids see that the teacher likes you, then maybe that would cultivate peer friendships down the road, or like more acceptance with, who knows. But I feel that. I get that for sure. Okay, so you were the quiet kid, didn't really talk much unless it was with the teacher that you built a connection with. So now let's talk about how this social life kind of went into high school basketball. So how did you being a manager on the freshman team come about?
You specifically saying, the coach, I know the coach. So then I was able to I think you gave me her number.
In eighth grade.
In eighth grade, you gave, and I started like reaching out to her, and I was like, hey, blah 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 blah. Mm-hmm. She was so excited. Oh my gosh, I remember like being so excited to know that she was excited.
So cute.
And then the season.
Didn't you say we Snapchatted her?
Yes.
Is that what it was in my office?
Yes.
I was like, here she is.
Yes.
That's so fun.
I remember going into it, like when the season started, I knew most of the girls because most of the eighth grade girls came up and tried out. Mm-hmm. And then there were a couple other girls I had to warm up to. And it's hard for me. I have to remember the names, and I have to I think about their face, and I say, this is you, this is you, this is you. And I had to do this all 4 years. Mm-hmm. It was a struggle. But then again, once I figured out who they were as a person, I knew their name, I knew their face. I loved them. They were like more sisters, more family.
Yeah.
And then it just, I think as time went on, I just kind of, around them, I wasn't as socially awkward around them.
More yourself, comfortably. Yeah.
Because they knew who I was, I knew who they were. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So was KG your, first of all, shout out to her. We love her so much.
She's the best.
Did you have her for PE like your freshman year? Was she your actual teacher? Or I introduced you via...
You introduced me just because... Yeah. I think I had... who did I have? I don't remember who I had, but...
But she just was never your teacher.
Yeah. She showed up. Mm-hmm. She was hopping around. Mm-hmm. And then she would go away.
So when did you first face-to-face interact with her? Do you remember?
I want to say the first day of practice.
Of actual tryouts or practice?
Practice. I never went to the tryouts.
Okay.
I was never they were never you have to be at tryouts. So I never was.
Okay. Pause. Let's rewind.
Okay.
How did you get to the moment where KG was sold? You're my manager. In that moment?
Whenever you gave me her phone number and I started talking to her, texting her, it was just yeah, I'm looking for a manager.
Oh.
If I remember correctly, that's how I remember it going down.
Okay, I know, so long ago.
Yeah.
But then when you first met her at school, the first time you ever really talked to her was at...
I think at the first practice.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
How did you feel socially when you were
I was nervous because it wasn't you. I was used to... I remember being nervous about that, is meeting somebody completely new that doesn't know me, especially not having her as a teacher or coach for anything prior. Mm-hmm. It was it was a lot.
Yeah.
But then she was so warm and welcoming, and I was like, oh my gosh.
She's so great. She's fantastic.
I think I'm gonna like you.
Yeah. So now, did you stay her manager only throughout high school, or did you go up to...
I went up every level. So I managed her with her for basketball, and then she was like, do you want to manage for soccer? Yeah. I never told you that. For a week. Okay. And then the girls were so mean, and I was like, love you, KG. This ain't for me. And she knew it was coming too. She was like, I understand. I was like,
they were mean?
One of the girls, I was friends with 2 of the girls on the team, and they would come to me and they're like, yeah, they're talking about you.
The freshman team?
Yeah.
Specifically?
And I was like, oh, just gonna hit the road. I'll wait until next year and do basketball again. Yeah.
That's freaking horrible.
Yeah.
Kids suck sometimes.
Yeah, but it's okay. Because then over time I warmed up to some of the girls that were on the team, and then, yeah.
Yeah, I did not know you did that. But in one way...
That was one thing I, like, completely forgot that I did.
Yeah.
And I just never told anybody.
Yeah. Well, that actually that speaks to several different educational points for kids, you know, going into high school, or maybe even in high school right now, that are wanting to feel accepted and try new things, is that you enjoyed your basketball managerial position so much that you're like, hey, I'm going to grow, spread my wings, and try something else.
I was so proud of myself, too, for, like, going outside of that part of my comfort zone. And then they shot me down.
Ugh. God, but exactly, like, you should be so proud. That's exactly why I had that reaction, because I felt the same way. I didn't know you did that, and that is huge, and that's just part of the ebbs and flows of life. We're going to try new things and not like them, and now you knew you weren't going to do that again, and that's fine, but you never would have known had you not tried that. And
I was also going to try to manage volleyball, and then I chickened out.
Was that before soccer?
That was after soccer. I think that was my sophomore year. I was like, you know what? To just kind of transition, I'll maybe try. And I was kind of talking to the coaches, and then I just never did.
Do you think it was like the fear of that happening again?
Yeah.
Like
that's it. Yeah.
You're like, that's exactly.
Because I also knew some of the girls on the volleyball team, and I knew that they were not the nicest. So.
Gosh.
Yeah.
That was the one thing. Do you want some? My lips are chapped. Okay.
Thank you, though.
You're welcome. That was one thing as a coach I remember hating, and I would try my best to, like, nip it in the bud immediately, as if my athletes treated my managers as if they were less than. And especially the track, it was a bigger deal because I had so many managers. I had like 10, and they were 10 or 12. Did you do track?
No, you wanted me to. I think you wanted me to try out, and I chickened out. And I think about that to this day. I low-key wish I would have done it.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's all right. I do remember that now that you say that. I was like, you'd be so strong. Throw. But why didn't you manage? I think it was like, Mom, like, your schedule was just...
I think it was my schedule. It was either that or, like, partially I was, like, scared as well.
Because it was a massive team. We had, like, 150 kids.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, I kicked, like, 30 of them off after the first week.
But still.
But, yeah. So that I can definitely see that being a case of why you didn't want to do it. But, yeah, I just remember specifically with track every year that I've coached it, that's how it always kind of ended up being, is people would, like, grab my water bottle, grab this, and I'm like, excuse me? Abso-freaking-lutely not. Let's redirect that conversation. Let's try again.
Say it in a nicer way.
Let's try again. Yeah, no. So were you ever made to feel that way? Like you were like the little... Maybe
once or twice, but then it was like they kind of like stopped. They knew that like that's not the right way, because then I became friends with them, and then it was like...
Yeah.
And then they knew that I was nice.
Well,
they just ask me nicely, or if I will offer it to you. If you need anything, I will get it for you.
Yeah, and that's what you end up doing.
Yeah.
That's also a testament of just like basic human kindness and healthy interaction, is just use your words appropriately, and look at what I became for you. Like, I had everything that any of you.
Like a silver platter. It's right here.
Yes. That is so special, Brittany. That I did not know that. That is so cute.
Thanks.
I would be willing to put my life on it. That I don't know of a single other kid that would wholeheartedly do that and use their own money.
Yeah.
When did you were you working at that point?
I really started my sophomore year. I think I would spend like birthday money if I had it. Like I'd like save money, and then if I had money to like spend, I would do it. But when I got my job my sophomore year, that's when it really started.
Oh my gosh. That's disgustingly sweet. I'm like so shocked.
I have figured out recently, especially with Christmas, that gift giving is my love language.
Yeah.
I spent like $700 on everybody for, like, not individually, but like all together.
It's so easy to do.
And then I got my mom and my sister matching crew necks with me. So like this one that I'm wearing right now, I made a little goodie box with them.
Oh, I love that. Do all things with love.
Yeah.
Bless your freaking heart. And it has a heart on it.
Yeah.
I can definitely agree with that. That is for sure your love language, or acts of service. I think you're both.
Probably.
With that. You are a gift giver, but you also do things for, I mean, again, the
And
managerial.
I think it's because, like, especially working where I work, I tell people, I'm like, if you don't like me, come up and tell me so I can fix it. I want people to accept me.
Yeah.
I don't want people to be mad at me. I want people to like me. And I think that's also why I do what I do, which is kind of sad. But, like, I've grown into it. So it's, like, it's better now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. But everybody wants to be accepted.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to be accepted. You know, that never goes away.
I wish it did.
Right. It really doesn't. I mean, you're going to be in social situations your whole life. And,
Yeah.
like, I even try to remind my students today, like, if I see nasty interactions or, like, they're trying to get out of something because they don't want to go talk to somebody, like something so simple, and in my brain it's so simple, but I have to remember, like, put yourself in their shoes. They went through COVID as a baby. You were
my
a
gosh.
grown woman when you went through COVID. You could navigate the hard social stuff. They couldn't.
That is so crazy to think about.
Yeah.
That the middle schoolers, like, now.
We're like toddlers.
Oh my gosh.
Not really, but like third,
But,
fourth,
like, practically.
second. Yes.
Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, like the pivotal years of you developing your social cues and interactions, like they had that stripped from them. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So I try my best to do that, but I'm always just like, use your words. What was that? Okay. But like even in moments like when they pick teams, like for certain things, like I'm trying to be better at that too as a teacher, because I know a lot of kids have social anxiety with that, with PE, like they've chosen last, but I announce to my students, like in the beginning of the year, that if that is not for you, if that gives you a lot of anxiety, like just let me know at some point. Shoot me an email, come up to me, let me know, and I will make a point to make sure you don't have to go through that.
Yeah.
Like I try my best anyways, but
I can say, like, having teachers say something like that, like, if you just come up and let me know about this and this, that relieves so much, like, stress, because I remember, like, I'll email, like, my teachers, I'm like, hey, this is what, just letting you know, and then I would tell them, and it was so much easier to know that they were receptive, is that the right word, of that?
Yes.
So,
and then honored you and respected you as a result. That's all it takes. But it, social anxiety is a real thing. I even had a student yesterday, she's newer, which God love her, like I can't.
Today's Saturday, sorry. I don't know what day of the week it is.
Yesterday, yeah, like she came up and asked me if, like, you know how you guys sat in squad spots for attendance?
Mm-hmm.
She would be like, or she said something, can I sit by so-and-so for, attendance, because I don't really know people. And my initial reaction is always like, yeah, like, I could care less. Like, I mean, I'm not that teacher that I want to make people comfortable.
Yeah.
But then there is another side of me that's just like, but if I was gone and a sub came, like, that would jack up the whole system. And, like, that's why we have squad spots. Like, no, if I moved you, then other people would have to move in my brain. So I'm, like, trying to find a balance as a professional with that. But I told her, I just said, is there a reason why, like, specifically that you want to go sit by this person? She's like, well, I just don't know anybody around me. And I was like, okay. And I get that. And I was like, but the good news is you're only sitting in that position for, like, maybe 2 minutes and then done. And then you guys are immediately with each other. So can we compromise? Like, is that okay? And she's like, yeah, sure. So we moved on with attendance. And then, like, 10 minutes later when they're up and doing the activity, I saw her playing with her friends, but then I noticed a little bit after that she was sitting in a corner and she just was all by herself. And I was like, oh my gosh. I go, are you okay? And she goes, yeah. She goes, I just have really bad social anxiety. Like, I can only handle so much. Like, PE is just, like, really chaotic for me at times. And when she said that she had social anxiety, unlike you, she now knows what that is, because the world is educated on mental health more post-COVID. You didn't have that as a middle school kid, unfortunately. But she was able to articulate that to me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, well, now I know. And, like, she was literally, like, her hands were shaking. Like, she was okay, but she just was very honest in saying, like, I just deal with it a lot, and I just have to sometimes take more breaks. And I'm like, oh my gosh, freaking power to you to be able to just say that and, like, know when to, like, take a break. And then I was like, from now on, yes, when we take attendance, I'll move your spot, because now that I know this and I see it, for sure,
Do you remember the anxiety attack I had during one of our games? We were away, and it got so bad that, like, I was, like, out in the hallway just trying to calm myself down, and I had no clue why. And I think, like, looking back, like, that is, like, social anxiety. Like, there was just so much happening. all around me, and I was just like so freaked out.
Oh my gosh.
And I was bawling my eyes out, and I had no clue why, so that made it worse. And I was, oh, yeah, you offered your popcorn to me, and I said no. I was like, no, I don't want food.
Did I come find you?
No, I was sitting next to you. We were in the bleachers. It was right after the girls like went to the locker room, like did all that stuff. And then I was like, I don't know what's wrong. And
okay.
And then it got worse, and then I went out into the hallway, and then two of the girls, I think it was Sammy and somebody else, were sitting out there with me. But like talking about like the girl you were just talking about, that like reminded me of that. Like I've blocked that out.
Like
It's yeah.
I remember like when you said that, I remember an experience. I remember details of it, but I guess it just happened so much like for kids, so it's hard to remember. But yeah, that's what that was.
It was. I had no clue. Thought I was going crazy.
And I think that's a big thing too. Is people with social anxiety, they can't put a why to it, a reasoning to it, and then they beat themselves up further. Like, I am going crazy. Why am I being so weird, socially awkward? Like, now more and more and more is wrong with me. I'll never be accepted. Like, it's just this big downward spiral. Now, did you ever like talk to your parents about that for you? Like, what that was like?
No, I think I was scared to. Just because, honestly, I don't know. I don't know why I never told them. I know I, like, as I got older, I kind of started talking to my mom about it. Because, like, she knew, like, since I was little, I haven't liked big crowds or loud noises at all. It's like, she knows that, like, that part of me. But then I think I was like, hey, like, I think I have this, but, like, I'm not, like, going to say I do. But then as I got older, definitely I could see. I still just haven't really talked to my mom about it all that much. I think a couple of days ago I actually talked to her about it. So
yeah, that's a step.
It's like,
but you're becoming that young adult woman, and you're evolving on your own too.
Yeah.
And so and you do have a confidence too. You like now you have a good job. Like you graduated high school. Questionable. But I mean you've paved a good path for yourself.
Yeah.
There are a lot of kids your age, young adults your age. Oh my gosh, you're not a kid anymore. That don't even have a job and are just chilling playing video games, so it's like you do have a level of confidence, at least outwardly. Like I can still see that in you. You've found a place where you fit in.
Yeah.
Am I wrong with that?
No, you're right. You're so right.
Because I see it. You exude it. Like even at Starbucks.
I have never heard that word before.
Exude?
Exude. I like it.
Exude it. You radiate it. Truly, like even when I drove by the Starbucks, like the few times I've seen you, like you just own that stuff. Like you are.
Oh yeah.
You need to be a manager there.
I can't move to another store. One, because I remember before I was supposed to go to Columbia, I was talking to one of my shift leads. I was like, I am so scared to go to Columbia because what if they don't like me? Because I've seen so many like horror stories of like partners moving to different stores. We're called partners. They don't want to consider us employees. Stupid. But like they have like stories, and they're like, my store that I transferred to didn't accept me. They've pushed me out. They talk about me behind my back, blah, 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 blah. And I was so scared of that happening. And then I had to quit my job to go to Columbia because they didn't have any spots. But now I just don't see myself leaving the Wentzville store.
That's okay.
If I leave that store's burning to the ground.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like there's this confidence to you because you are so great at helping. And I don't even work with you, but I've worked with you, and you've shown me as a kid that you are very capable of lots of the hard things. So I can only imagine. Well, now since you mentioned this, I kind of want to segue into a moment of college. So you said that you went to Mizzou. And what were your original goals? Just talk to me about what all happened with that and your social anxiety too. Tie that into it.
So I was I'm gonna backtrack a little bit.
Yep.
So elementary, I was in choir, 4th and 5th grade. 5th grade, you sign up for all your middle school classes. I was talking to my parents. I was like, hey, I want to do choir and this and this. They said, choir's not going to get you anywhere in life. Take art classes. My dad was like, I know a bunch of people.
The counselors said that?
My parents.
Okay.
My parents, yeah.
Okay.
my dad was like, I know people, they were saying, like, I'm really good at art, and I'm not going to deny it.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know this about you.
I painted my grandpa. I'll show you a picture later. He's dead. But oh, I love dropping that one.
It's so funny. He's dead, don't worry.
But yeah, they were like, you're really good at art. And then my dad was like, I know a bunch of people that are good at art. They like design the call centers. You can be an interior designer. And I was like, okay, well, can't be in choir. I think if I was in choir, I wouldn't have so much social anxiety, because that's something that like is a lot. And I will say, I do like to sing. My grandpa is a singer. My dad's dead. He's not dead. I'll make that known. He's not the dead one.
Okay.
So like, I think like having that, like, it just passes through the family and everything, and not being able to like actually do it was like kind of.
So you were convinced to not do it.
Yeah.
You didn't. It's not one thing that you tried and were like,
yeah. So, going from there, when I was taking, like, filling out course, like, the list for high school, I was doing a bunch of art classes. Because, again, didn't take choir, so I was like, I took, like, every single art class in that building. Almost every single one. It really, I enjoyed it, because then I got to know the teachers. I loved it. So then I took, I want to say, Housing and Interior Design 1 in my either freshman or sophomore year. I think it was sophomore, because we were hybrid. I remember that. So I took that because I was like, I'm going to go into this. I had it in my head that I was going into it. 2 years passed. My senior year, I'm talking to the teacher that taught it, because I also had it for senior facts. And she was like, hey, or actually it was my junior year. She was like, hey, I want to do this. Would you sign a paper? And I was like, yeah. So in my senior year, I was able to take Housing 2, but it was all Housing 1 students. I was the only Housing 2 student. I still got the credit for it. So I had Housing 1 twice on my, what is that paper called? It's got all the courses that we take in the credits.
Transcripts?
Yeah, transcript. Thank you.
I'm like, I don't even know. Lincoln me.
So, like, I got all the credits for that, and then I took all my art classes. So, like, I have been, like, well-rounded in the art department. Go to Mizzou. I fill out my little thing. It's under architectural studies and interior design, because that's what I was majoring in. I had to buy $400 worth of art supplies.
No.
It was not fun.
Yeah.
I hated every single time I went to my class.
Really?
Every single time. I was like, this is not, because it was an architecture-based class. I did not want to do that.
Yeah.
I hated it. So that was a big thing. And then I never got out of my dorm room. Didn't ever really make any friends, because I was so scared to leave my dorm room. I was also, if you look at Mizzou's campus, there's like all the school buildings, like the buildings, and then all the dorms. I was in the dorm right across from like the football field. That's the furthest dorm from campus. So it was like, what the heck? But it was closer to the arena for basketball, so like I would like go up there and everything. I was able to like kind of get in touch with the management over there.
Really?
I went to a couple of the practices, and oh my gosh, that was not for me.
High speed,
the clock. I was so confident with the clock in high school, and then the clock was so different, because they have the shot clock, and then they would be like running back and forth, and you had to start it at this point, but you couldn't start at this point. But you had to start it at this point, and if you didn't start at this point, they were yelling at you. Yeah. And I was like, oh. And then I was like, she was like, did this like scare you at all? I was like, no, I'm good.
The coach?
The manager, like, she's like the manager of the managers. I don't know what she was called, but she was so sweet, because I forget how I got in contact. Oh, I got in contact with all of them because my high school coaches, one of them, Coach Shaq, love her. She played over there, and she gave me the contact information my junior year for their like director. So I was like emailing her, and then that went back and forth. She moved to a different spot, gave me the email of somebody else. So then it was like over the summer, I went to one of their like summer practices. Like I was like ready to go.
Yeah.
And then that one practice really just threw me over the edge. It just nothing like high school
Yeah.
basketball. I can say that.
Yeah.
But then again, like I just never got out. So it was like.
Now, was the not going out part the social anxiety, like
yeah.
just not being accepted, not knowing how to like meet new people?
Yeah, and then I will say, part of the reason why I left, like the more I think about it, I barely got any help, like money wise from family.
Mm-hmm.
Looking to what my sister got, like comparing the two, it was very, like what's the point? Like I am gonna have to work my butt off, and I couldn't get a job down there because I was coming back to here every single weekend because I needed to for my own sanity.
Right.
And then after a couple weeks of coming back, I think the last week I came back, I was with my grandma because she had to watch my brother. And I was like, what if I changed to being a teacher? I thought about it.
Yeah.
And then she was like, And then I said, what if I drop out? And she's like, yeah. She was more supportive of me dropping out than me switching my majors because I really just hated my major and just everything about college. I hated it. And I, like, growing up, I never was told that, like, taking a gap year is, like, it's okay. I don't think I'm going back right now.
Yeah.
I need, because just everything that happened my last year of high school, it was so much. So, like, I need time to just figure myself out and get money, and not being able to get a job in Columbia really had a job. And then when I told them I was going back, they were like, hey. It was the first tailgate, actually. They called me, and they were like...
At Mizzou?
Yeah, I was at Mizzou.
Yeah.
So I had a job at this little cupcakery. I was so excited.
Yeah, that's like right up your alley.
It was so fun. Hey, Brittany, this is blah, blah, blah from blah, blah, blah. So, looking back, it's not going to work out. But you can come up and pick up the money that you made so we don't have to send you a W-2. Because I did training. And it was $12 in training, and they gave me $20, and they let me leave with a cupcake. And I never went back. Their cupcakes were good, too, let me tell you. Those cupcakes were good.
They gave me $20 and let me leave with a cupcake?
Yeah.
That should be the storyline of this episode.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. $20 and a cupcake. They were big cupcakes, too.
Dang.
Yeah.
They didn't tell you why?
It was just because the commitment of me, like, because I also had basketball. I was like, this is like, so like, they were like, it's just not going to really work out because since I wouldn't be available weekends, and then I had such limited, and I was like, just, you guys are not open all the time anyway.
Yeah.
Just let me.
Gosh.
Let me come in, decorate some cupcakes, and leave.
Right. That's
all I
like
want.
totally your jam.
All I want.
You're such a good baker. God. Well, that's wild. But I think I love how Grandma did support you dropping out more, but because she knew the truth. Like, she just knew that wasn't...
She saw me every weekend. I would go to her... So, the last 2-3 weeks, I skipped class a lot because I hated it. But Thursdays, if I did go to class, because those were my 3, like, main classes that I needed. It was my 2 architecture classes, and then it was, like, women and gender studies. And that was... It took me from 9 a.m. to 3:15 p.m. every single Thursday and Tuesday, and I hated it. Yeah. But then if I did go to class, I'd pack my bag before, have it in my car, and then I'd skedaddle, and I just wouldn't go to my lecture class on Fridays. That class was so easy to miss. Yeah. Really only had to go if I had a test. I went to 1 test. Yeah. And then I skedaddle. Never went back.
I think that's way more common. Like, I didn't even plan on questioning about college experiences, but like that's actually, I'm really glad that we did touch on this because so many kids when they go to college and who are currently in college are still going through that. Like, they just don't know how to even start making friends. Like, I know when I went to Lindenwood my freshman year, they had like a bunch of social mixers and like, but I still didn't want to go. I'm like, that's just, I know their intentions are good, like they're trying to create environments for us to like mingle and socialize, but I had a good roommate my freshman year. Like, we learned we were going to be roommates like over the summer, and so like we Facebook requested each other and like chit-chatted, and we met on the 4th of July, I think, was the first time we actually met. And she was awesome, and she was on my track team. We learned that we were like completely opposite people, but we got along really well. Like she would stay out super late, like partying. I mean, I went out too, but like
not as much.
No, like I would still get up at 5, 6 a.m. and like work out and get my workouts done. But like she'd be coming home at like 3 a.m. and I was a light sleeper, but I just remember she would always like and like fall in the wall a little bit. But she was super cool. Like that was like my first, I guess, friend. But being on a sports team also helped me with that aspect of meeting people. So I can only imagine not having those things. Like, did you have a roommate?
Yeah. My roommate was my very first best friend.
In college?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Or just in general. She was my very first best friend from when I was little. We were roommates.
Oh.
Isn't that crazy?
Wait, like you grew up?
We didn't like grow up together, but like before I moved to the district, like we were on the same softball team together. We did Girl Scouts together. This is like before first grade. So like we were in this tiny little town, and then we like would send each other letters back and forth because like we'd have our mom mail them obviously, but like we would write them. And then she gave me her phone number. I had her phone number, and then her Snapchat popped up one day, and I was like, add.
Oh.
And then over the next couple years, we were talking, and then she was like, I'm going to Mizzou. Are you going to Mizzou? And I was like, yeah. We were rooming together. And then she was like, I'm actually not going to Mizzou. And I was like, dang it. And then she was like, change of plans again. I am going to Mizzou. And then what's really funny is she was like, what if I drop out? I was like, no. She stayed, I dropped out.
Oh, no.
But yeah, and we're still friends. We talk to each other.
Yeah.
I'm going to go up there and visit them someday.
So did she help ease your social anxiety?
Yeah, she got me to go to like one of the very first things Mizzou was doing for the freshmen. Mm-hmm. They over-admitted freshmen. They had like freshmen sleeping in like study halls, and we were lucky enough to have like a 4-person suite. So like 2 of us were in one room, connecting bathroom. Because that's what I wanted. I could not fathom going to a community hall bathroom.
I know.
Not happening.
Yep.
Mm-mm.
Yep.
Yeah, she got me to go out, and there were so many people.
Yeah.
And we walked from the furthest, like, towards, not by the columns, but, like, a little bit away from that. And then we walked to the football place, the field, whatever it's called. I don't know. I don't like football. So, I don't know anything.
That green fake thing.
Yeah. But they were having, like, all the freshmen. They gave everybody shirts. So I have a shirt. The one and only Mizzou shirt that I have.
Yeah.
And then all the freshmen were, like, going down, and I guess were taking a picture, like, making an M or whatever. I left. I said, hey, I'm going back to the dorm. I took a shower, and I turned off our lights, and I was just on my phone for this tonight.
But you liked that. Like,
I hated it.
No, you like being by yourself.
Being by myself.
Hated that, but
I hated going to that event, but I went because she was like, we should go. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Getting out of my comfort zone.
Trying it.
And it did not.
That's okay.
It did not go very well after that.
That's okay. But. So do you think COVID was actually, like, such a blessing? Like, did you kind of enjoy it in a way? Because you were just, like, sweet and...
Yes and no. I hated the fact that we had to have our cameras on in some classes.
School, yeah.
I would rather just have it off. Like, I'm here. I also remember my chemistry teacher made me really upset because she called on me in a question I didn't understand. I was like, I just don't understand. She's like, why don't you understand? I was like, I don't understand chemistry. Just understand that you were trying to teach it. Yes. Yeah. This was my sophomore year. And she was trying to get me to understand chemistry over a computer. That don't work.
It don't work in person.
Not work at all.
Right.
I couldn't even get it in person.
Yes.
I hated it. I hated it so much.
You guys learned chemistry over a computer. It's so true. Well, have you ever considered, like, if you, like, you taking this hiatus, like, however much time to, like, find yourself, which is also, when you said that earlier, like, my heart, like, you're so young, and the fact that you're able to say that for yourself, like, there are so many other kids, young adults, that have gone through what you've gone through. Like, you try to college. In fact, one of my first episodes with Cam shared his story of, like, he was, watch it, it's amazing. He's freaking incredible. He went to Holt, but he had kind of an opposite experience. Like, went to college, wasn't his thing, like, but he went through a downward spiral as a result. Like, not saying you didn't have hard times because of it, but, like, you're able at such a young age to say, hey, like, Yeah, it sucks. That wasn't for me. Like, was it a waste of time? No, but like
I learned some stuff from it. I also learned
Exactly.
that I was gonna have a $32,000 debt at the end of every single year.
Yep.
I didn't get nothing.
Yep. Yeah. So
Still a
it's
little
like,
upset about that one.
Yeah.
If you can't tell.
Yeah. But no, I think that's really commendable for you, like at a young age, to be able to say, like, I don't know if I'm going back, but I'm happy where I'm at for now. Like, you're still exploring yourself, you're learning about yourself. Like, I think that kudos to you for that, genuinely.
I also tell myself we all die at one point. We got one life to live.
Yeah, right. Do things that more make you happy. Have you ever considered, like, if school ends up being something you want to pursue, just like virtual?
Oh yeah. If I go back to school, it's strictly virtual.
Okay, I was gonna say that
Like,
sounds like that'd be your alley.
If I can stay with Starbucks long enough to where I don't hate my job as much, I'm getting back on the I don't hate it, I'm actually liking it. I have the opportunity to go through ASU because Starbucks has partnered with Arizona State University.
Yeah, you said that. Yes.
They pay as long as you meet a certain hour requirement. I don't know what the requirement is, but it's also very hard right now, especially because managers don't like to give us hours, and then labor, everything, especially with January because it's everybody's like their resolutions, no Starbucks and paying off loans.
Yeah.
So hours at this point are nothing. But if I meet the hourly requirement, they will fully pay for my tuition. All I'd have to pay for is like books.
Yeah.
Which is like super nice.
Yeah.
And it's online, but then there's also if I mess up and I get warnings, like final written warnings, and if I'm like fired, I will have to start paying for it again.
Right.
And then if I don't meet the requirements, I have to pay the difference. It's a whole thing, and I haven't looked into it yet fully, but if I do go to school and I'm still working with Starbucks, I think that's what I'm going to go through because free tuition?
Right.
Sign me up.
Your girl over here is in like, what is it? It'll be probably about $250,000
Dang.
of student loans whenever all is said and done.
But you got what, a PhD? Is that what it is? Like,
not yet. I have like about a year left, but
you've got it.
We're trying.
We're
trying,
trying,
girl. We're trying. So with all that to say, I kind of want to wrap up, and this is more of kind of a deep question again too, but I'm sorry.
You hit me with all these deep questions.
I know. So if you had like almost 19-year-old Britney, like if you had to look back at like middle school Britney, and you remember that social anxiety that she had, like whether it was PE class in the hallway, cafeteria, transitioning into high school, COVID, whatever. And if you could give that little Britney advice after what you've been through, and other little Britneys that are in the world right now, male or female, Bobs and Britneys, boy and girl names here, what would you say? Like if they struggle with social anxiety like you did?
It sucks, but sign up for the clubs, sign up for the sports, even if like just try it for a week. And then if you're going through stuff at home, like I was, home's home. School is like your safe space. Hopefully, if it's not, I'm sorry. Find a safe space, or find a safe person, and just think about that. If you're having a tough time at home, as soon as you walk out that door, leave it. Lock that door. You don't think about it until you are going back through that door again at the end of the day. Because I know I struggle with that. Like I took that with me, and that was a big thing. And if I could just go back in time and just cut it off and not think about it, I think my life would have been 10 times better.
Yeah. So do you think like being a manager, for example, in 8th grade, that helped?
It got me out of the house. It kept me away from tough times and and helped me make friends.
Yes. I love that.
Definitely sign up for everything.
Yeah. And if sports aren't your thing, like you said, that just wasn't your niche, and that's okay. Like consider being a manager and find out you like don't have to like basketball, but you may have a best friend on the team, or be a manager with it.
You can get all the same experiences, all the same life lessons. I learned so much by being a manager.
Like what?
I would say like being a part of a team, like being able to work with others, accepting other people. That was a big thing. And then just not being afraid, taking those big leaps. That was a huge thing that I learned.
Yes.
Yeah. I thought about this last night and I forget what else I thought about. Unless you want to say this morning.
I was just going to say that. I was just going to say.
I think I went to bed at like 4 this morning. Yeah. And I woke up at 10.
6 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Not awful.
That's the earliest I've woken up
Mm-hmm.
in the past month.
I'm honored that you've done this for me.
Hey, I can wake up.
Yeah.
If there's a really good reason why.
I'm glad this was a really good reason.
My best friend, she'll be like, you can't wake up for anything. I say, if there's a reason why, I wake up. She's like,
because you're
unless you can push it. And I was like, like, you're right, but dang.
Yeah.
But
yeah. When you said that earlier about the college, like when you went to Mizzou and you reached out to, that is wildly commendable. Like that right there, as we're talking to little Brittany and Bob's out there today, that is like a really big piece of social anxiety, that you grew that much from little Brittany that was scared, thought you were weird and awkward and like no one would accept you, and you are freaking connecting and networking in a Division I, one of the most popular college in Missouri, the state of Missouri, in the nation.
I was definitely scared to leave that. Like, my mom was like, are you sure you want to, like, for basketball? And I was like, I have to do it for my mental health. Like, I have to.
Mm-hmm.
And I texted the girl. I was like, I wish you guys the best of luck with the season. I'm so sorry, because I told her that I was not going to leave. Like, I was going to be there. I was going to have my own key to the building, like, everything. I was like, I'm so sorry, but I have to do what's right for me.
Yeah.
And she's like, I totally understand that. Because
yeah.
she's a psychology major, I think. Mm-hmm. So it was she understood.
Yeah. And that was from Mizzou, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But even that is commendable. The fact that you were aware enough that, like, you had to step away. But all of those things that you did from when you probably never thought imaginable you could when you were a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
And look at how you transformed. Like,
so amazing.
It is. You are so amazing. And that is, like, it's funny how you said earlier, like, I ain't got any advice for people. I still struggle with it. But you do have advice. Like, you've modeled. You don't even realize how many teachable things that you are projecting to people because of this. So yeah, I'm really freaking proud of you, and I'm really grateful for you being here and sharing that about social anxiety. I'm happy I get to share it. Yay! Can we embrace? Wait, let's be weird. Let's scoot on the wheels and hug. Let's see what it looks like. Come here! I love you.
Love you.
It's time for our Level Up segment, where we distill the wisdom from today's episode into actionable advice. If you're ready to take charge of your mental well-being and enhance your life, here are 5 pieces of advice inspired by Britney's journey. Number 1, embrace vulnerability. Social anxiety often stems from a fear of judgment. Embrace vulnerability by sharing your thoughts and feelings with trusted friends or seeking professional support. Opening up is the first steps towards healing. Number 2, challenge negative thoughts. Britney shared how she worked on challenging negative thoughts. Take a moment to recognize and challenge your own negative self-talk. Replace self-critical thoughts with positive affirmations and realistic perspectives. Number 3, gradual exposure. Facing fears gradually can be a powerful way to overcome social anxiety. Start small. Take incremental steps, and celebrate each achievement along the way. Small victories pave the path to greater confidence. Number 4, build a support system. Surround yourself with understanding and supportive individuals. Whether it's friends, family, or a mental health professional, a strong support system can make a world of difference in your journey towards better mental health. Quality over quantity is what matters the most. You don't need a massive support group. Even just one incredible person can be a strong support system. And number 5, practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself. Understand that everyone has their own struggles, and it's okay to have imperfections. Practice self-compassion and treat yourself with the same kindness that you would offer to a friend. I'm actually going to insert a number 6 here, but this is my personal advice after being reunited with Britney and this wonderful woman who once was a child as a student of mine. Embrace the weird. This is a personal note from me. Depending on what stage of life you are in, your definition of being weird could fluctuate between being a positive or a negative thing. But trust me, the older and more experienced you get in life, being weird is the new cool. Questioning yourself about whether or not your quirky, silly, and fun personality will be accepted is old news. Get with people who celebrate your weirdness and meet you right where you are for being unapologetically yourself. So Britney, keep being weird. Welcome to the club. I love you, girl. Remember, guys, change is a journey, not a destination. Implementing these pieces of advice can be the catalyst for positive transformation in your life. Thank you for tuning in today. If you found this episode helpful, please share it with someone who might benefit. We'll be back with more empowering content in the next episode. Until then, take care, be kind to yourselves, and remember that you are not alone on your journey to better mental health. See you next Monday.